What if I told you that Lionel Messi has just influenced the future of Barcelona in a completely unexpected way? Without wearing the shirt, without stepping onto the pitch, without saying a single word publicly. What if I told you that while many believe his chapter at the club is closed, his presence has never been more alive? Because something has happened that has shaken the emotions of Barca fans once again. Something that feels familiar, uncomfortable, and deeply unfair. But before we get to Messi, before we understand why his name is once again at the center of everything, we need to pause. Because there is an injustice that cannot be ignored. My friend, let's talk honestly. Let's talk about one of the most frustrating and incomprehensible injustices involving a Barcelona player in recent times. An injustice that did not happen on the field, did not come from a referee's whistle, and did not arrive after a painful defeat. It came dressed in elegance, applause, and polished speeches. It came during a ceremony that claims to celebrate football's purest truth. And yet, when the results were revealed, nearly the entire Barcelona fan base felt the same emotion: disbelief. The FIFA The Best ceremony once again presented itself as the ultimate symbol of fairness. Votes from national team captains, respected coaches, specialized journalists, and fans from around the world. A system that promises balance, diversity, and objectivity. And yet, when you look beyond the surface, when you analyze the results calmly and honestly, the narrative begins to fall apart. The winner, Mbappé, was expected. The media had already prepared the headlines. Analysts had already framed the story. Lamine Yamal finishing second felt like a confirmation of his extraordinary talent and limitless future. Pedri appearing in the top 10 seemed reasonable within the context. Everything looked fine until it didn't. Because then came the name that ignited outrage. Raphinha, 5th place, once again pushed aside, once again treated as if his season had been good, but not great. And that is where the tone changes. That is where calm turns into frustration. Because this is not about emotional bias or blind loyalty. This is about impact, about presence, about responsibility, about decisive moments. Raphinha was not a player of occasional highlights. He was consistency. He was reliability. He was one of the few players who showed up when the pressure was heaviest, when a margin for error disappeared, when the season demanded personality. He delivered in big games. He carried weight when others hesitated. And yet, he was placed behind players who, with all due respect, did not carry the same collective influence or responsibility throughout the season. This is what hurts the most. Not the position itself, but what it represents. Because when a player gives everything, when he becomes a pillar of the team, when he delivers in decisive moments and still remains overlooked, it sends a dangerous message. A message that football awards are no longer about what happens on the pitch, but about which story is louder. Raphinha led by example. He was decisive without demanding attention. He worked without excuses. He showed maturity, leadership, and resilience in moments when the team desperately needed stability. He wasn't perfect, but he was essential. And yet, he finished outside the top 3, outside the FIFA Best 11, as if his season had somehow been forgettable. And that brings us to the uncomfortable question. What more does a player like Raphinha need to do? Why do some players enter the conversation automatically, while others need a flawless season just to be acknowledged? Football today is not only played with the ball. It is played with narratives, media influence, and marketable stories. And when those narratives become more powerful than performance, the awards lose their meaning. Many analysts, even those with no emotional connection to Barcelona, agree on one thing. Raphinha deserved more. Some place him comfortably in the top 3. Others argue he deserved to finish ahead of younger stars. Not because those players were bad, but because Raphinha's season was complete from start to finish. Recognition should not be selective. Excellence should not depend on popularity. So now I want to hear from you, honestly, without club bias. Do you believe Raphinha was treated unfairly once again? Do these awards truly reflect what happens on the pitch? Or do they serve a larger narrative? Where do you think Raphinha should have finished? Leave your opinion in the comments, because this debate goes far beyond one player. And now, my friend, We return to where everything began. We return to the name that still defines Barcelona's soul, Lionel Messi. Because while injustices repeat themselves and the club looks for direction, Messi remains present, watching, understanding, feeling the club as his home. Even from a distance, his connection has never been broken. Barcelona is approaching a critical decision. The future of Robert Lewandowski is uncertain, not out of disrespect, not out of ingratitude, but because reality is unavoidable. Age, salary, a new sporting project focused on sustainability and renewal. The club is thinking ahead, and in that process, names are being discussed. Options are being evaluated. But one name has emerged with surprising strength, and it didn't come only from boardroom discussions. It came from Messi. According to multiple reliable sources, Messi remains in frequent contact with key figures within the club, including President Joan Laporta, not to impose decisions, but to share vision. And there is one name that Messi believes represents the perfect beginning of a new attacking era. Julián Álvarez. Intensity, intelligence, movement, tactical awareness. A forward who doesn't just score, but understands collective play, who presses, links up, sacrifices, and appears when the team needs him most. For Messi, Julián Álvarez is not just a great striker. He is a perfect fit. This is not about signing a superstar for marketing purposes. It is about building something coherent, something modern, a forward line that represents the future. Lamine Yamal on one side, pure unpredictability. Raphinha on the other, experience and consistency. Julián Álvarez in the center, connecting everything with intelligence and intensity. A trio capable of terrifying defenses, not through ego, but through harmony. Messi sees this because Messi understands football at its deepest level. He understands Barcelona's DNA. He knows the club doesn't need the loudest names, it needs the right ones. And the fact that his vision aligns with profiles like Julián Álvarez speaks volumes. So the question returns to you. Do you agree with Messi? Do you believe Julián Álvarez is the ideal striker to lead Barcelona's next chapter? Can you imagine that trio becoming the best attacking line in world football? Or do you think the club should look elsewhere? Because Barcelona is standing at crossroads, and the decisions made now will shape its identity for years to come. So tell me, my friend, are we witnessing the beginning of a new era guided, even from a distance, by Lionel Messi's footballing mind, or are we simply repeating the same mistakes once again?